Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific lady who is a novelist, playwright, business writer, and also a marketing executive, born and educated in England, now living in the New York City area. She is a prolific writer, editor, and co-author of nonfiction. We'll talk more about that. She has a brand new book out there which transports readers on a thrilling journey for the miraculous paintings that are basically destined to usher in spiritual enlightenment. It's the 3-in-1, and what is it? Haunted by Enigmatic Dreams, middle of the road artist, basically recently divorced and just creates a mesmerizing painting. And how does this come together? We'll talk about in the book, The Angel Scroll. Live, ladies and gentlemen, at Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Manhattan, the amazing novelist, playwright, business writer, marketing exec, born and educated in England, now in New York City, and the book, The Angel Scroll. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Penelope Holt. Penelope, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
That was a nice welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Penelope. You're a novelist, playwright, business writer, marketing executive, born and educated in England. Now you live in New York City. You're a prolific writer, editor, and co-author of several nonfiction books, including Singing God's Work, The Story of the Harlem Choir, also Emotional Intelligence at Work, and The Apple. And you have a new book that transports readers on a thrilling hunt for 3 miraculous paintings that are destined to usher in spiritual enlightenment, called The Angel Scroll. Before getting to all that, Penelope, tell us how you first got started.
Well, I've always been a writer. I think kids decide pretty early on they love stories. So I started as a kid and studied it in school, and then came to America and tried to work in theater, which is quite difficult in Manhattan. So I wound up in advertising, marketing, writing copy. Figured if I can't write the great American novel, I'll write stuff on the back of cereal boxes.
That's one of my favorites, writing stuff in cereal boxes. Even back in the day of, clipping out the 45s and putting a record player after eating some breakfast cereal. I remember those days, or pulling out those toys or puzzles and all that. That was my entertainment right there. Instead of using these right here, it was just using pen, pencil, and also your imagination.
I know. We used to have little miniature. We used to go to the shop when I was a kid, and they'd have a penny tray, and you could pick up sweeties, for a penny, 4 for a penny.
Oh, nice.
And little plastic farm animals. And remember the little green men with their parachutes?
Oh, yeah. I think that was a G.I. Joe. I remember that.
G.I. Joes, yeah. So where was I? Yeah, so it's good training. If you're writing stuff on the back of cereal boxes, you've got to make everything fit and be really tight and concise. So then I got into ghostwriting and business writing and, working with other people. And when you're working on other people's books, you've got to, follow their lead. It's their vision. So this book, The Angel Scroll, is really the book I've always wanted to write. It's a great work of imagination and creativity. And it's got all the themes that I'm fascinated by. It's a book I'd like to read. It's got spirituality and metaphysics and fringe religious theories and miracles and love and a scavenger hunt around Europe. It's kind of like the Da Vinci Code. So I think it's fun, fast-paced, and there's a lot in it. It's very meaty.
And little green men in cereal boxes too, I'll bet.
No, maybe next time.
I'm kidding. And was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
I think reading. Just reading great stories, the classics, Dickens, Emily Bronte, Gone with the Wind, Little Women when I was a kid. And then as I got older, Dostoevsky and Tolstoy, all the greats. It kind of inspires you. You think, how do they come up with those stories? How do they craft them so beautifully? How do they, string those words together? So I think it was really reading for me as a kid. It's, people who watch movies and stuff, they talk about looking up at the big screen, and saying, that's what I want to do. Or they go to a comedy club and they see a stand-up comedian and they're pulled. But for me, it was being on my own, reading books and thinking, this is what I want to do.
Oh my gosh, what are some of my other favorite books growing up?
What's that?
How about some of your other favorite books growing up?
Thomas Hardy, I loved. Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Far from the Madding Crowd, Jude the Obscure. 19th century literature. I like French literature. Jane Austen, of course. The Brontes grew up quite close to quite close to where I was born. So yeah, all of the classics.
Okay. How about some other favorite writers?
Well, recently, I enjoyed Amor Towles' book, A Gentleman in Moscow. Did you read that one?
Not again chance to, but I'm going to put that on my reading list, which I should probably start doing. I said, have you read this? Have you read that? I said, no, but I'm going to. What was the name of it again?
A Gentleman in Moscow. Well, Moscow we say in England, but you say Moscow, I think.
The
Actually,
Gentleman in Moscow. Okay, I'm writing this down as we speak here, so we do that. So if you have other suggestions for books, let me know. I can write it down too. So I'm starting to write things down, which I should be doing. I'll tell you.
Well, if you don't want to read the book, I know Showtime just did a series of the book, like a limited series. I think it was like 8 episodes. It was really well done.
Oh, really? Okay. And then you talked about having like books being written and then go to a TV or a movie and everything like that. And what are some of your favorite books that you think has done well with movies, and what are some of the books that have like just tanked basically?
I liked White Oleander. I remember reading that book and thinking I was really inspired by that. I thought that was a great book. I think I like the Da Vinci Code. My book is sort of a new, a kind of a new take on a Da Vinci Code type story. I liked that. I like the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the John le Carre books.
Okay.
About Russian spies and everything. I think they've done a great job.
Okay. That's really interesting. How about your other favorite genres you like?
Well, a lot of the reading I've done recently is in metaphysics and philosophy. If anyone listens to me, they know that I love a guy called Bernardo Castro. He got a PhD in computer engineering and a PhD in philosophy. And he kind of combines modern science with philosophy and metaphysics to kind of give an explanation of consciousness and, why we're here and how we got here and what's really happening. So I've been reading him and listening to a lot of his podcasts. And a lot of what I do now, which I think other people do, is, I love to read, but there's just so many great YouTube channels and podcasts out there. It's a great way to absorb information and, gain new knowledge.
And certainly does as well too. And you got one called The Angel Scroll, which could be possibly a movie, could be possibly made for TV and everything like that. We'll talk more about the amazing author Penelope Holt. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show, the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Malson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Malson-Zia, available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Malson-Zia has got great reviews in Evil Evan enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forge Riley Jimenez. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Malson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Anchor FM, and also on Apple and Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on all social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/me and Molson Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also t-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Amazon.com/me and Molson Zia. Check it out today. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing author Penelope Holt of the Angel Scroll here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we get back to Angel Scroll, you were going to say something else while I was talking about missing. Now, did you think I was going missing on that one?
No, I was going to ask you what kind of books you like to read.
Well, that's a really good question. You know, this one right here by me and Molson Zia, it's very fast-paced, unforgettable twist. You know, I felt I was in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and it was definitely one target. And that target was not me, I'll tell you right now. So, and of course, you know, I happened to have your book, The Angel Scroll. I got that as well, too. And also like reading some biographies, autobiographies. I love being inspired by other people. And of course, I like reading about sports figures, you know, history of like, say, rock music or American history, Constitution, or anything with England or anything, or whatever I pick up. It's like, you know, I just like to read, or I can just read on my phone too, like with Kindle or Amazon or anything like that, you know, read on the phone too. And also I like to read blogs and everything else. And I think I should get back to you know, reading books as well. And one of my favorites is it was that book by Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's my number one. Dale Carnegie, that's the one.
You reminded me, I love biographies too.
Mm-hmm.
This
Wait,
great biography of Mahatma Gandhi called My Experiments with the Truth.
okay.
Yeah. And I like Walter Isaac's book on, who did he do? He did Steve Jobs. I think did he do Reagan too? And he just did Elon Musk. And he does these big meaty biographies, but I love a good biography.
Mm-hmm. And I think another one too is I remember reading a long time ago was Tell It to the King, the Lyric King story. This is like back in the 80s when I was getting into radio and inspired by him that you know what to talk about, you know, what to ask and how he got in and everything. I love it how people, you know, get into business, how they work their way up. It's like I think people should learn more about that than worrying about, you know, how many likes I'm gonna get on social media. It's like how many followers I'm gonna get on Instagram and everything like that, you know, quick. It's, you know, the rising building and everything else. Of course, books over here, I normally try to, you know, turn right now, but my computer's not allowing me to do so. That you just have like a library yourself. So I want everybody to imagine a library. Okay, I don't need to don't feed it to you, but just a library. That's it. So. And I'm getting ready to add the Angel Scroll as well too with Penelope Holt. Before getting back to that book, you're a novelist, playwright, business writer, marketing executive, born and educated in England, live in New York. Tell us about your journey going from England to New York City.
Well, yeah, after I graduated from college, I had friends over here. I visited and I really liked it. I wound up meeting my husband, so I stayed, which I didn't mean to stay. I always thought I'd go back home. But once you get married and you have kids, you're sort of, you know, you're planted. But I would go back every year as much as I could to visit my family in the north of England. It's in the north near the Yorkshire Dales and the moors, very pretty. I went to university in New York, which is a very old Roman town, 2,000 years old. It was built by the Romans when they invaded in 55 BC. Julius
Oh
Caesar.
my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, they go back a bit there. And writing the book, The Angel Scroll, you know, a lot of it set in Rome, Siena, Milan, Lake Como, France, because growing up in England, it's pretty easy to roam around Europe and during the summer holidays.
Interesting. And what exactly inspired you to write the Angel Scroll?
Well, I'd read about this, that they believed they found a new a new Dead Sea Scroll. You know, the original Dead Sea Scrolls were found in the 1940s to 50s.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they'd found a lost one in 1999. And I thought,
Wow.
ooh, right on the edge of the new millennium of 2000.
Oh my gosh.
And it was called the Angel Scroll. And
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, they believed that it was genuine. And it was full of angel mysticism and imagery. And it gave a tour of heaven. And I thought that would be a great jumping off point for a creative exploration. So the Angel Scroll, my Angel Scroll, not the original or the alleged Angel Scroll, my Angel Scroll predicts 3 paintings, like you say, that when they're put together, they create miracles.
Okay. And what are the 3 paintings?
Well, I can't tell you too much because you got to read the book, but they've got a holy figure in them. They're very different. And I can't tell you exactly what the paintings are because that's giving too much away, but they're created by amateur painters.
Oh,
And that's how you know that, and they're masterpieces. So they're channeled by these amateur painters, and they are warm to the touch, and they are healing.
okay.
And they emit kind of heat and sound. So they're sort of very supernatural. It would play well as a movie because you can see you can see the supernatural elements.
Okay. Everything all coming together as well too. And Claire goes on a journey, and tell us more about Claire and going on her journey, interaction, her faith, and everything like that.
Yeah, she's a painter, quite a modest one. She, paints landscapes and flowers and still lifes. And she loses her husband tragically. He's only 38.
Wow.
And she starts to have this dream, and she dreams of Jesus in India.
Jesus in India.
Which is a theory. They believe that Jesus did travel to India, that he was an Essene, and that he was very influenced by the Essenes were very influenced by Hinduism. And so during his missing years, there's a theory that he actually did travel through India to Benares, Varanasi, where the historical Buddha, was enlightened. So Claire has this dream of Jesus at the deathbed of a young Indian woman, and her husband is pleading with him to save his young wife, but he doesn't save her. He leaves her, and she dies. And so this Claire paints this painting, and of course it's very painful because she's just lost her husband too. And then she finds out that they think that this painting is one of the 3. And so she's taken off on this adventure to look for the other 2 paintings and put them together and see what happens when they finally assemble the paintings into a miraculous triptych.
And where are some of the countries and places that she went through to find those 2 paintings? Like some of the other countries, like say India or even England or Italy or anything like that. Where are some other countries that she went through?
Well, they go to Israel, to a Benedictine monastery, because that's where the scroll is being translated. So you get a nice little look at Old Jerusalem, where the tomb of David is, and Dormition Abbey, where the Virgin Mary was set to go to sleep and ascend into heaven, and the room of the Last Supper. So she visits those places, and then she goes to Glastonbury Tor in England, where the Druids, who were the pagan priests of the Celts, she goes to Glastonbury Tor. Stonehenge was built by the Druids, and she finds out all about the mysteries of Glastonbury Tor, which includes King Arthur.
Oh,
King
wow.
Arthur, he was buried there. And there's a legend that Joseph of Arimathea, who gave Jesus his tomb, he brought the Grail, the chalice used at the Last Supper, and he buried it in Glastonbury Tor. And of course, the Knights of the Round Table went on their great quest for the Holy Grail, because it was supposed to be life renewing. So
I remember that. I remember in comedian form, Monty Python, that just kind of thinks right there. So
yeah, I grew up with Monty Python. They were.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's something too. And of course, mix it in with the Da Vinci Code as well too. It seems like it takes the Da Vinci Code to a whole new level. And tell us a bit more about the fascination with the Da Vinci Code more.
I like that they took these contested, I mean, some people believe they're true, but these contested theories that Jesus was with Mary Magdalene, that he was married to Mary Magdalene, and Opus Dei. There's a lot of mystery around the Catholic group, the Opus Dei. And so I just like and all of the great architecture and the meaning of, the ancient symbolism and the sacred geometry. I love the way Dan Brown just like wove it all together. It made it very mysterious and sort of spiritual, but there was a lot of facts, a lot of history, a lot of fascinating tidbits in it. And I just thought it made for a really good read. And it was like a scavenger hunt. They were all over, writing all over Europe, mostly in Paris, right? They spent a lot of time in England because, there's the British Isles are, so ancient, and they're a mess that, we've got minsters and cathedrals that took centuries to build. So there's just a lot of myth and legend and mystery.
You're talking about like finding the Holy Grail, finding the stone and swords and everything like that. How about some of the other treasures and gems they find along the way?
Well, people ask me about the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh
People
yes, it
say
makes me think of what's that?
Indiana Jones,
Indiana Jones, that's it. I was like, what was
the
that I'm
Temple of
thinking? It's
Doom.
like, oh, I gotta put on my fedora more often to think about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, somebody asked me about that. I don't know too much about the Ark of the Covenant. It's supposed to be in a church in Ethiopia, right? And they say that they think it's some kind of a energetic, maybe nuclear device, that you can't get too near it. And then they tie it to, ancient aliens and all of that. So that's pretty interesting. And the Holy Grail, that's very famous. The chalice used at the Last Supper. So I think those objects are just fascinating for people. And then you have the relics, in the Catholic Church. You've got the nails that Christ was crucified with, and the bones of saints, and yeah, a lot of.
oh my gosh, that had to be. And of course, you trying to tie these facts and figures and everything like that. It's like, how much difficulty would you say you're trying to tie all these in without upsetting the legacy, like with the chalice, the Holy Grail, or like the spiritual aspect or anything like that? It's like, how difficult was it, and how you managed to overcome the challenges?
It wasn't that difficult. I mean, I loved the research. I'd done so much research. I was just reading about all the stuff that fascinated me, like Old Jerusalem, all of the religious significance of that, and that Jesus in India theory. There's a Buddhist monk in the book. There's a Benedictine monk. So I studied the Benedictines and I studied Buddhism, and I just kept jotting down really fascinating ideas and facts. And then it was like I just had to work the plot so that I would be able to weave in all of these things that captured my interest.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And what was your most favorite?
What was my most
Favorite? It can be either like an object, or it can be like, like a faith or anything like that, or a fact. Like, what was like the most interesting, or you really liked?
Well, one of the things I like is if you look on the book cover, that's sacred geometry. I think it's the seed of life. And right in the center is a shaped like an eye.
Hmm.
And that is called the vesica piscis. And it's the eye shape in sacred geometry. And it's where two circles intersect, makes that shape, like a
Okay.
Venn diagram.
Okay.
And
I was just
it's
looking at the book right here. I was thinking more like the eye in the sky, like you see in a lot of the movies. Mainly, what was it? One of the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, or something like that. Had this huge eye up there.
and they have the eye of Horus and the third eye. So that that vesica piscis, that was the fish shape. That
Hmm.
early Christians recognized each other. They'd make that shape of the. So I like sacred geometry, and I particularly like that shape, the vesica piscis. I talk about it in the book. It's used in a lot of Christian architecture. And that's why you always see saints in flames. They're like in a flame
Saints
shape.
and flames. Interesting.
I mean, in flame shapes, right? That's
Oh, okay. I was thinking like, Saints
they're
on
not
fire.
not set on
Saint
fire.
Paul. Oh my gosh. I forgot to turn off the oven or something.
Yeah, toaster oven blew up. Um, so I really like that. I enjoyed because that intersection of the two circles, that's sort of the upper and the lower intersecting. You know, so there's a lot of symbolism there that I find that speaks to me.
Okay. And how about your spiritual background and how to affect your story as well too? Tell us about your spiritual background.
Well, I was christened. I went to a Catholic grammar school, which was a convent school run by nuns, and I was baptized a Catholic there. And I was about 12 or 13, and I was very serious about it. I used to go on pilgrimages to Lourdes, and then I just have always studied faith traditions. I'm always interested in why people believe what they believe, and is it helping them to be a better person.
Mm.
So I looked a lot into Buddhism, Hinduism, comparative religion. And that's what, in the book, Claire meets these different characters from different faith traditions. She even meets a woman who's an anthropologist and studies goddess worship. So she gets all of these different perspectives and viewpoints as she's trying to figure out what's happening to her. Her husband's died, she's grieving, she's made this incredible painting that's priceless, she's being pulled along, she's part of this prophecy, she's being dragged all over Europe, and she's talking to all of these people and trying to figure out what they believe and what she should believe. And everything points to miracles, that miracles are real. And she wants to believe in miracles. She wants to believe that she'll see her husband again.
Mm-hmm.
But she's afraid. She's afraid to give herself over and believe things that turn out not to be true.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking about, you were talking about paintings earlier as well, too, tiny miracles and everything. Have you done any paintings yourself, or paints or anything like that? Any paintings?
I do. Yeah, I do. I do paint. I took it up as a hobby about 20 years ago.
Wow.
And a couple of weeks ago, I got my paintbrushes out, actually. Yeah, I always say that you use a different part of your brain when you paint. When you write, you feel a certain way, and then when you paint, it's a different experience.
It's interesting. I happen to notice the painting in the background as well, too. I like to hear more about that. That's for all the viewers out there. Listeners, you'll have to imagine.
That is a print of a Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock. Tell me more about it.
Yeah. Well, if you've ever seen the movie Pollock with Ed Harris in it and Amy Madden, did you see the story?
No, I haven't. That's another to do on my bucket list as well,
Ed
too.
Harris, anything with Ed Harris in it is great, right?
Ed Harris. Okay. I think I recognize the name Ed Harris. I'm trying to think. It's like, oh gosh, what movie was he in? It's like that name sounds familiar. Oh,
He was in I think he was in The Right Stuff.
The Right Stuff. That's the one. Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So Pollock was, was a starving artist in New York. And he was, his patron was Peggy Guggenheim of, Guggenheim fame. And they were, experimenting with abstraction, and really, he used to take cans with paint, put them on a string, and, swing them and splatter paint. So they were trying to get away from being very representational.
Oh, I heard about that. It's like, I think somebody did that. It's like, swing and splash paint and everything. I think I saw something like that.
Yeah, but in a controlled way. And I don't know, I just like it because it's sort of, I love great art, representational art and the old masters and Vermeer and whatnot. But I like some of this more abstract and contemporary stuff because I think it's like a Rorschach test. You can look at it and see, you might see a little bird, or you might see a butterfly or a flower, or so yeah, I like to look at that one.
I think I can see right now. I can probably come back into a different interpretation. It looks like it's a tree heading into fall.
Yeah, at a distance, it almost looks like that. Yes, it looks like a tree, or the floor of the forest or something with all of the, the leaves sort of crumbling on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. But too bad it's not one of the paintings in the book. And of course, she'll want you to read the book. And what are the 3 paintings in the Angel Scroll of Penelope Holt? We'll find out just 1 minute and more. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mulson's Missing. We'll be back with the multi-talented author Penelope Holt of The Angel Scroll after this time out. We're back with Penelope Holt of The Angel Scroll here on The Mike Wagner Show, and let's continue on the book as well, too. And basically, it's like, this could also foretell what's going to happen in the future. And how is this book important for the times we're living in now and possibly in the future?
We could use a few miracles, don't you think?
I think we all do. It's like the Olympics, presidential elections, the economy. It's like, anything possible.
Yeah, I think we could all just calm down a little bit, be nicer to each other, just think about pleasant things, not get so revved up on social media. And so, yeah, it's the reason that the 3 paintings are supposed to be a new gospel. And the reason they're paintings is you don't have to read and understand them like you do by the words of the Bible, for example. You can just look at the paintings and have this direct experience. Like when you look at a sunset, right? What do you look at that brings you peace and good feelings.
Hmm.
What do you look at?
Are you talking about the sun or what's going on right now, or?
I'm just talking about, what do you look at that calms you and that just makes you feel peaceful and that
I actually think of things like that going inside my head, like, a nice cup of coffee, my wife, or one of my animals as well, too, or knowing I got a great podcast, or even just, looking at the sun, the background, and everything else. So it's just like, or even birds that just, fly around North Dakota. So I just have some of that. So a lot of imagery and everything like that. And also that we did talk about the paintings as well, too. And I guess another question as well too, that what do you want people to get from the book?
to be curious and to not just, I don't think you should fall for conspiracies or, fringe theories, but I think there are a lot of fascinating stories out there and people have different journeys. And I think it's always good to not be dogmatic about what you think, but to listen to other people's journeys, especially their spiritual life journeys. Like, what makes them get up out of bed in the
Hmm.
morning? I don't just mean making money, but why do they think they're here? What is the point? What are they trying to accomplish? Who are they trying to be? And so that's Claire's journey. She's living her life, she's married, she's happy, and then it's not until she loses her husband and it all falls apart which is what happens, right, with all of
Hmm.
us when we're grieving, that she has to sort of figure out a different path and find a way to go on. And the things that were important to her have been obliterated, and so now she's got to find a way to think about life and move forward in a new way.
Hmm. And certainly important as well too. And where can we find your book at?
Well, if you go to Penelope Holt, my name's a tongue twister, isn't it? Can I,
Penelope Holt, Penelope
can I,
Holt. Oh, try
um,
saying that 10 times fast, ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
people, yeah, that's why people wind up calling me Pen. If you go to penelopeholt.com, you can read some of the blogs and stuff, and you can buy the book at Amazon or Barnes and Noble, or what is it they say, Mike? Anywhere good books are sold.
Yes, good books are sold. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time, ever since online shopping has been cool. It's like, you used to travel around by car, by bus, you walk to your bookstore, library, anything like that. You can just go to any bookstore, small bookstore, giant retailer, and now you got to stay online. So, oh my gosh, I think I'm ready to walk to a bookstore right now after this. So,
I used to do that. My husband and I used to do that on Saturdays. Before we had kids, we'd go to the bookstore, get a cup of coffee, and just, find a book, sit down, read a few pages, browse. I feel like in Manhattan, I'm north of Manhattan, but I feel like there are more bookstores cropping up, like Barnes and Noble. I feel like they're making a comeback. I feel like people want to go and actually see the nice books displayed and pick them
mhm.
up.
Are you talking about the giant retailers or a small mom and pop?
Both of them. I think the independent bookstores and also the Barnes and Nobles, the big ones. I think people are just, the cars sort of replaced bicycles, didn't they? But people still like to ride bikes.
Oh, that's certainly amazing. I think I'll do that right now. And what's your website?
PenelopeHolt.com.
All right, we'll certainly check that out. We're here with the multi-talented Penelope Holt of the Angel School here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more things, Penelope. What else can we expect from you in 2024 and beyond?
Ooh, I don't know. The world feels a bit dangerous right now. I hope things start to calm down. And it's August. We're almost in August.
Wow.
And I don't know, 2025 feels like a big number. That's quarter of a century, right?
I would think so. And I think I got about, I think I lost track on how many years we have and everything else. To me, it's just like you take it one day at a time. I think I lost track after a while when you get to my age, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think it's true what they say, that as you get older, that the years seem to speed up, don't they?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then somebody was talking about, football come up in a few days. I'm like, already? And I was just getting started to enjoy summer. So, oh, so many things go by way too fast, Maureen, way too
But
fast.
you were talking about all the sports teams in New York, but because I grew up in England with what we call football,
Hmm.
soccer. So I've never really gotten into American sports. And when I first came, my birthday is January 31st.
Hmm.
And the Super Bowl always used to seem to fall around my birthday. And I'd say to people, you want to come and celebrate my birthday? You want to come over for that? Oh no, it's Super Bowl weekend, Super Bowl. So kind of got a deep resentment against Super Bowl.
Well, you can always do it a week early and just fake it. That's all. Just have it later on. I think lately you've been going into like, was it the not first weekend, now second weekend, February. They're starting to expand the seasons, the weeks now. It's like it used to be 14 weeks, 15, 16, 17. Next thing you know, it'd be like year-round football. And it's like, what is a Super Bowl really? So
do you follow we just had the European Championships for soccer? Did you follow that? England was in the final with Spain.
I have followed some of it. And of course, there was also a CONCACAF, got the Gold Cup, got World Cup coming up. And I did hear news like from the US, they fired their coach after not making the Gold Cup, CONCACAF like they do every single year, getting the finals, win the whole thing. They've been doing like, oh God, 10, 20, 30 years. But then it's like the funny part is like, they get in the finals of those cups and all of a sudden they get to World Cup. It's like they tank.
I know it's they take it hard. When I call home, they're all, well, first of all, you can't call when they're watching because they're all, it's like the whole country is glued to the television. And then when England lost to Spain, but Spain is a very good, it's got a really good team.
I think there was one team that I did follow briefly because they have them on like on every TV station that I'll go, wait on my car to get fixed. You have a coffee and all that. I think it was at Manchester United. I think it was one of the clubs that's owned by an American who owns the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Malcolm Glazer. I think he's the guy. He's the one that owns Manchester. Is that right? Or is Chelsea? Which one?
I'm not up on that, but
oh,
yeah.
okay, no problem. It would just make me think it's like, an American owning a club like that. Of course, more on that. We'll have a pint on that afterwards. And
a few international owners, I think the whole sport is becoming, remember David Beckham came to America and he was set up that team in, David Beckham, Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh yeah, he's one of the Spice Girls.
Yeah, and he played for Real Madrid. So I think it's becoming, very international now with both the players and the owners. It's getting cross-pollinated.
And I think he got MLS going again with the LA Galaxy. He was like one of the higher paid players. And all of a sudden, it's like, I think it was 12 teams, maybe like 5 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, I look at the list. I'm like, there's 40 teams and there's like 2 divisions. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, what's next? You have a team from Iowa being Major League Soccer, or you have a team from Kansas, Nebraska, or New Mexico. It's like, what's next?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so fat.
It's good. I think it unites people, in these times where people are falling out. It's nice, then the friend, even though there's rivalries with the sports teams, they're friendly rivalries. And
okay. And they can all use the angel scroll right there, even in soccer. So
and if I put crap in my book, it's going to be holy crap.
There you go. That's a good one.
In honor of you, Mike.
There you go. There you go. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
That's a tough one. My husband's influenced me a lot. He's started out as an engineer and became a lawyer. He was in the Air Force, wrote a lot of books. He's very diligent. He's always trying new things and he works really hard at it. And, he's a great believer in 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration.
Yes, it is. I think that's a model we should all live on instead of the quick fix social media. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
To anybody at this point?
Yes, anybody.
Well, I'm going to quote my mother. And when she used to say it to me when I was a teenager, it used to annoy the heck out of me. But of course, you get older and you get wiser. And I am here to report that my mother was correct, that it's a good idea to think happy thoughts.
I like that. I think we should all do that today, guys. We're here with the amazing author, Penelope Holt of The Angel Scroll here on the Mike Wagner Show. Penelope, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. Once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Go to penelopeholt.com. And there's links, you see my books there, and links to Amazon so that you can buy them.
Okay. And once again, the website?
PenelopeHolt.com.
All right. We'll certainly check that out. Once again, Penelope, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. We'd love to have you back. We wish all the best. And Penelope, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.